Welcome again to another episode of the Eagle's Nest podcast, where today we have a long-awaited guest.
Hi, I'm Ephraim. I am the Vice Chief of Chapter Operations. I do a bunch of cool stuff with my 12 chapter chiefs, and I'm really thankful to have the opportunity to talk to you today.
Of course, same here. And since I didn't mention at the start, I'm Emerson. I am the secretary for this year. And the fun thing about that is this lovely individual had my job last year, and he grew me from a little test tube as a Slack chair, just like he had done before me. And now here we are today, and I get to work along with him.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Part of the job of being in these leadership positions is really growing the next generation of leaders, and that's kind of just in scouting in general, really. Growing that next generation of leaders for America, and it's kind of cool knowing that someone that I've kind of mentored along the way is also taking the helm. So it's really cool to see that work, and I'm glad that you've taken on something like this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to be a part of it. So first thing I want to ask you is, what really got you into scouting at the start, and then the OA by proxy?
Well, initially getting me into scouting, we would have to go back to the dark ages of when I was a 6-year-old. When I was a 6-year-old, my mother grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to my first Cub Scout meeting. So kind of some context behind that. I'm not going to go into the details or anything, but my mom was a Girl Scout, earned whatever the highest award was, and then my dad was a Cub Scout, then my grandpa was a Boy Scout in Pennsylvania. So it's kind of like a long line of succession, so it only made sense that I would join the bloodline, of course. Kind of going into scouting, I got my Eagle pretty early. I would think when I was like 14. And then I joined the OA a few years before that. So my first years, I didn't really do that much. And then I think I would say my big break was probably starting back in my induction. Like when it really grew my love for the OA was when Matthew Morrell, he was the chief back in 2019. He was the first person to talk to me. I was a 4'8" little shy youngin, and then Matthew Morrell shook my hand and talked to me for like 10 minutes. And that was really cool because I wanted to be someone like him, I wanted to be someone who was always welcoming other people and really making people feel like they belong, because I feel like that's something just in life we really lack, as people who are, you have the really enthusiastic people who are really excited to be there, but also those people that can be, truly showing that brotherhood and cheerfulness, but not in a way where you're excluding anyone else either. So I really wanted to be that, and I kind of grew my passion to want to be somebody like that, and that kind of led to my passion for service, serving for our different lodge positions, and I just really love the OA and its purpose, and I can't wait to do it until I get really old and age out.
It's fantastic. And that story you told about Matthew coming up to you, shaking your hand, talking to you, that's a really awesome thing. I kind of had a similar thing happen to me where Ella Burke came up and did almost the same thing. And I guess it works because we're both pretty involved. So anyone out there who wants to get someone excited about the OA, I guess the simplest thing you can do is just go up and shake their hand, talk to them for a while. So
get Carson
really
Patterson to shake your hand. Get
Yes.
Carson Patterson to shake your hand at this induction weekend,
Yes.
and you'll become the next OA great.
It's true. It's just that simple. So outside of Scouts, what do you do with most of your time?
Well, right now I just graduated high school. I graduated high school last Saturday.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
thank you. That era of my life is over. I am slowly becoming an old man, but that's okay. Actually, before we did this interview, I was at the gym. So I do that a lot. I'm a big gym guy. They say in scouting to stay physically and mentally fit, and that's a way that I can kind of set myself up in a routine and also just make myself more active, and I get to meet a lot of people there and help other people out when they're starting out. That's really fun to me. I'm a big sports guy. I was an associate athletic director at my high school while I was a student there. I also did our social media, and I run a sports journalism account for my high school sports. So I have about 600 followers on that, and I'm kind of the main source of highlights and scores, and I just really love doing that. Let's see. Other things about me, I'm going to MTSU
Nice.
this fall, and I'm going to do a major of sports journalism with a minor in currently sports administration and or sports analytics.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that.
Any reason you chose MTSU specifically?
MTSU, number one, they gave me the most money. And number two, I absolutely love
So real for that.
Murfreesboro. I was born in rural Smith County, and the Walmart here is 30 minutes away from my house.
Dang.
So I wanted to live, somewhere
advanced.
where I could actually walk somewhere and get food. So that was also part of my decision. But I do a lot of things. I like to stay busy, and I would say out of all the things I currently do besides work, scouting is probably my number two in terms of how much I actually do, and I just really love it.
So those things that you do in your position. I don't know if he said at the beginning. I think you did. Vice Chief of Chapter Operations. What do the duties kind of look like for that role?
Oh, it's quite a monumental job. Not really, because I have an amazing team around me. I have 12 chapter chiefs, and they all do an amazing job. So essentially, I would assume the people on this podcast will know what chapters are, but just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So in each district of the Middle Tennessee Council, there is an OA chapter that corresponds with the district. So for example, Trail of Tears is Weedy, Cumberland River District is Katane, so on and so forth. So each chapter is basically a smaller part of the lodge. So if you stack it up like you're stacking up bottles, the big layer at the bottom would be the chapters. Built upon it would be the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the chapters support the lodge, and basically what my job is to supervise those chapters and kind of push them along and make sure that our chapters are functioning at a great rate. I also help out my chairman, Cole Bone, which is my unit elections chair, Kent Matina, which is my chapter relations chair, and Hannah Neal, who is my camp promotions chair. All three of them do an amazing job, and we kind of break things up. And I want to see them succeed. I want them to be future leaders in our lodge as well. And I think my job isn't as much as a doer as more of a mentor and a supervisor,
mm-hmm.
because I want them to succeed. I want them to go better. And if anyone ever wants to get involved in the lodge, chapters is an amazing way to start. And for me to have the opportunity to personally nurture and help those people out and really grow them in the OA is really exciting for me. I mean, from everything from unit elections to chapter meetings to chapter social media, just anything that I can help with is kind of my job. And I'm also there kind of as a relations person in general. I send out a lot of emails, talking with a lot of unit leaders, and it's just really cool to kind of be the face, but also to promote the people in my area to make sure they get the recognition they deserve as well.
Yeah, it's a really important job, watching over the foundation of the lodge with these chapters. And you've been doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
All right, here's a heater for you. There's one thing you'd like to see changed in the Wahinasa Lodge. What would that be?
Oof.
And don't say nothing.
I'm not going to say nothing. This is a question I get a lot, not necessarily from my end, but people who always suggest things to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think our lodge, and I know that our lodge is one of the strongest in the country. I've visited a lot of other lodges. I've talked with a lot of different people for the section, and I truly believe we're one of the best creations of leadership. We've had multiple national chiefs, multiple section chiefs. We're a very strong lodge, and I think we still have a lot that we could be doing. I think that we still need to improve our relationship with the council and with our section leadership and get more involved with them. And that's not really our fault. It's just giving that outreach. Another thing that I think we can improve on is just kind of moving into the future. And there's things like we can look into like stuff like an online trading post, more of an online presence like you're doing right now with this podcast. We're moving in the right direction, but sometimes we just have to kind of look at ourselves and be like, okay, what can we do to ensure that this lodge will last not just for the next year, but for the next 20 years? Because if we keep so sighted on let's get past next year, we're never going to actually grow and take new things into account. So I think just really accepting change and wanting to be at the forefront of the lodges instead of seeing what other lodges are going to do. We need to set our own standards, set our own pace, because we own our own finish line. And I think that we can continue to be one of the strongest lodges in the country. We just need to continue to innovate and kind of show that we are willing to move to the times, no matter what that may bring.
Yeah, I think that's a really great answer. I mean, complacency is the enemy of innovation, And if there's anything that the Wahinasa is not, it's complacent. So making sure that we keep that going is really vital. I really like that answer. What's your favorite sports team? You're a sports journalist after all.
Oh man. Well, see, I could be really biased. Like, are we talking professional sports
Professional.
or just in general?
I mean, you could do both. In general, I'm just curious. I mean, you watch a lot of sports, so I figured you have a good answer.
An all-time professional sport, like, I could give a favorite for each sport, but if I had to pick like one team, regardless of sport, I think it would be the Nashville Predators. They're what really got me into sports in the first place. Back in, I don't even know, like when I was born, pretty much, I actually had a miniature Preds jersey that I wore when I was born because my parents just like doing that to me. Apparently.
Really?
Yeah, and
you came out as a sports fan. That's crazy.
Exactly. Fun fact, I didn't actually used to be a sports fan when I was really little, and then it kind of developed on me.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2017, the Nashville Predators made a run to the Stanley Cup Final, and I watched every single game. I broke down every stat. We ended up losing, but to see the way sports brought people together, especially the way the Nashville Predators did in a small hockey market, just kind of going back in history, the Nashville Predators actually were going to get moved to Canada, and they were able to stay because the fans were so committed.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was some ownership problem that they wanted to move to Hamilton, Canada, and the team actually banded together and kept the team in Nashville. And ever since then, we've proved that Nashville can be a hockey town. I've been to multiple games.
Yeah, it's Smashville. It's awesome.
Smashville, absolutely.
Smashville, bro.
The identity that the Nashville Predators have created as kind of a, hey, we're Southern hockey people. We may not enjoy it the same way Canadians do around here, but the people who are here are very loyal, and I just love the fan base. My favorite player of all time is number 35. It's hanging in the rafters, Pecorino. He was a goalie for pretty much my entire life, and he retired a few years ago. He's just my favorite player because he really showed what Smashville was about, and he just carried himself with a very good mentality. He was a great leader, and he inspired me to kind of want to be a leader as well. So the Nashville Predators are definitely my favorite team.
Yeah, it's a lot of pretty significant. I never really thought about it that way. That's super neat. So what is the Ephraim end goal here? What's the dream job, right? Because, you know, you're studying sports journalism with a minor in more sports things and then more sports things. So I got a ballpark, pun intended. But what's like specifically, what's the dream job for Ephraim?
Oh man, dream job.
Or do you even have one? Or you just want to get into the field?
Honestly, I don't really have a dream job per se. I know that kind of sounds like, what do you mean? But
no,
I just want to support myself, support my family, my future family, and kind of help everyone who's helped me out. Because you know, the golden rule.
For sure.
They gave so much to me. People have given me so much that through sports journalism, I'm kind of as an example in my local sports team, I have actually made a lot of commitment posts and helped actually promote a lot of our athletes and get them into college. So I want to be able to provide that to different players around the country and just promote them and get them seen. I mean, if I had to have a end goal job, it would probably be some type of a reporter for ESPN, or maybe a commentator, or even a PA announcer. Like this year, I was actually the PA announcer for the Owls. So anytime we do basketball or volleyball, I'd be the one actually at the court commentating the games.
That sounds really fun.
That was just a bunch of, it was really fun because there's nothing like, in my opinion, there's nothing like high school sports because how loyal the community is. The whole community comes together, and it's just really cool to see that unity on display. And I really want to be a part of sports because although I do spend a lot of time on Slack and Sheets and LodgeMaster and everything else,
Love those sheets.
I absolutely hate office jobs.
Really?
So I want to do something where it's something different every day, and sports is different every single day.
That's true.
So that's kind of my end goal, is to just keep it inventive, have a lot of fun, and just really promote athletes.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, as long as it pertains to what you love, I suppose it's a dream job, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're good to start rounding it out here. Anything you want to leave off with? Any kind of message, sage wisdom, emotional outburst?
I'm not going to give an emotional outburst.
That's fine.
This microphone has been through too much, and I don't want to destroy it. But I'll start with a quote from Wayne Gretzky. He was a hockey player, the greatest one of all time, by the way.
I know Wayne Gretzky, actually.
He once said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
Oh, that was him?
That was him, yes.
Wow.
So, my advice to anyone out there who is wondering or hesitating even, like let's say you're at school and you're thinking about running for Beta Club president, or you're, just any election, or even if it's like an OA election, take your shot and leave a legacy. No matter what you do, be the best one at it, because you never know who's watching. I remember when I was at NOAC that I was just making little social media posts, and Lucas Buckner and Sam Rumbley came up to me and basically like, hey, you'd be really good as a secretary. And through some convincing and some confidence on my end, I actually got the opportunity to do that. So my advice to anyone out there is just take your opportunities as they come, because you never know if you'll get another one or not. Enjoy your life, take opportunities as you're given, because the more outgoing and the more you're willing to roll off the punches, it shows how strong of an individual you are. And I just think, why waste opportunities when it could be the only one you ever get? Like this summer, I'm going to Europe, and $5,000 to go somewhere is a lot of money, but I don't know if I'll ever get that trip again. So just take your opportunities, enjoy life, and leave a legacy for others to follow, and just really inspire people to do the same things that you'd want to do.
I think those are great words to end on. So thank you so much, Ephraim. I'm really happy to have you today. You wanna give us an outro? Like a little like
outro?
See you next time, one of those.
Oh man, I'm not much of an outro guy,
We
but
can do it at the same time if you want.
what are we gonna say? I didn't plan this out.
I didn't either. All right, let's see. How about thanks for watching? No, like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, I forgot where.
Okay.
It's YouTube. All right.
Wait.
3, 2,
Okay,
1.
Wait. Okay, so like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. All right.
You got it. Okay, go ahead.
3,
2, 1.
2, 1. Like, comment,
and subscribe. Come back and watch the podcast.
Yeah,
I
watch
know
all
you
of
got
them.
a really good one cooking up. You got a good one cooking up. Mr. Lodge Chief is gonna be the next one.
Oh,
so
yes.
you wanna see that. You wanna see that. Carson's
Tune in.
amazing.
Hit that bell.
Smash that subscribe button, and watch out for future uploads from the Walking Up the Lodge.
All right. Thank you so much once again, Ephraim. Much appreciated.
No problem.